Back for our second segment of our roundtable here on the Web Insurance Countdown to Kickoff on 1150 WIMA. Todd Walker here along with Jason Aldrich and Mike Miller. Our broadcast game tonight is Shawnee at Ottawa Glandorf. And before we get in depth with this week's picks, let's look back to last week, if we must. Was not a good week except for Jason Aldrich.
Wow.
Aldrich 4-1. Here's how they went. We all had Spencerville over Allen East.
Right.
No problem there. We all had Wapakoneta over Elida. Here's where the problems start to creep in. Yours truly and Miller had Bluffton over Jefferson. That was a shiner.
Yep.
Aldrich takes Jefferson. Lima Senior Piqua, we all had Piqua. That was a loss. And then Salina OG. Yours truly gets punched in the face. I had the Titans. You two had Salina. So now, with a 2-3 week for moi, I drop into a tie with Mike. We're both 5-5. Or I'm sorry, 10-5. Mike 3-2 last week, but Jason Aldrich has vaulted to the top spot at 11-4 after a 4-1 week. How about that?
The coin never lets you down.
So basically, there's a one-game difference.
One game difference through 3 weeks.
First and the second placers.
Exactly right.
Thank
so let's get to this week's picks. Let's begin with our broadcast game. Shawnee at Ottawa Glandorf. Indians lost the opener to Marion Local 42-7. Since then, a win over St. Mary's and a win over Van Wert, arguably the two worst teams in the league. Can Shawnee get it done tonight at Ottawa Glandorf, who suffered their first loss last week to Salina? Jason, what do you think?
I think OG under Ken Schreiner is going to bounce back. They always seem to after a setback, so I'm going to take them playing at home tonight with all the momentum to get the win tonight here in WBL action.
All right, you've got Ottawa Glandorf. Mike?
Anytime I hear Ken Schreiner talk about we need to get tougher, that means the Titans are cracking down. And I don't know that we've seen enough yet from Coach Owen and the Shawnee Indians that they're ready to take a team like Ottawa Glandorf on the road. And I don't know that we know a whole lot about OG other than they blasted their first two opponents before tripping at a pretty good Salina team. So I'm on the OG bandwagon. Yeah, still, I think you have to pick the Titans tonight.
Yeah, I think I'm taking OG as well. I think the difference will be the Titans can throw the football more effectively than Shawnee can. And Shawnee's pass defense has been suspect when they've played team that can throw, that being Marion Local. I think OG's passing game will be the difference tonight in a relatively low-scoring affair, but I'll take the Titans.
What if it's raining, though? It could be raining tonight.
Yeah, the rain's overrated affecting the passing game. Titans have been very good when they needed to pass.
All right.
61% completion rate for Logan Riemann. I'll take the Titans. Moving on to another game in the Western Buckeye League. This one to be on 107.5 WZRX. Wapakoneta at Bath. To me, this is a no-brainer. I think it's Redskins all the way. What do you think, Jason?
I'm going to agree with you, Todd. Wapakoneta, again, bouncing back in a big way after that setback a couple of weeks ago at home to Kenton. Just had their way with Elida last week, and I think the play-by-play voice here is going to agree with both of us here, Todd. Let's see.
Right, it's hard to pick against Wapakoneta. Big question tonight really is going to be field conditions if it rains, but it's early in the season, so none of the fields have really been destroyed. I just think Wapakoneta, with their ability to control the ball on offense, and I also think, despite what happened against Kenton, their better than average defense is just going to be too much for Bath through 4 quarters of football. So I'm taking Wapakoneta on the road tonight to defeat the Bath Wildcats.
So we've got agreement there as well. Let's move to the Northwest Conference. Jefferson at Allen East tonight. We talked about this in the opening segment. Mustangs lost at Spencerville last week. Jeff Cats took care of business against Bluffton. This is a key game at Allen East tonight. Mustangs needed to try and stay in the NWC race. Let's go to the picks. Jason, you're first.
I took Jefferson last week. I'm taking them again
why
this
wouldn't
week.
you?
That's
Yeah.
right. I'm taking the Jeff Cats.
Michael?
You know, I was so impressed with Allen East early, the win at New Bremen, the home victory they had to follow, and this Stewart kid, I've seen him on clips a few times. He's pretty physical. He's really intent. And I think maybe Jefferson is better than Spencerville, and Spencerville rocked Allen East last week, so it's hard to pick against Jefferson tonight, although I would love to see Allen East get a big home victory. I don't think it's going to happen. You have to pick Jefferson.
Yeah, I agree. I think Jefferson's better, and they will win that game tonight at Allen East. And it's shaping up to be a week we all agree, but sometimes that happens. In the MAC, the feature game is Coldwater at St. John's. The Cavaliers bouncing back nicely from losing to Kenton with wins over Hartley, and then last week in their MAC opener with Versailles. St. John's finally got off the schneid with a win at St. Henry last week. This game at Stadium Park tonight. I got to go with Coldwater. That's usually my rule. And I think Kenton's really, really good. And the fact that Coldwater managed to hang basically with them and then win at Hartley tells me that Coldwater maybe not as good as they've been the past couple of years, but still very, very good. And I'm not sure the Jays are up to the challenge tonight. Coldwater will win this game.
I will again agree. I will go with the Coldwater Cavaliers to win at Stadium Park over the Delphus St. John's Blue Jays. It's just, I think, one of those seasons where I guess you maybe call it a bit of a rebuilding mode for Delphus St. John's.
Well, the good thing for the Jays is being in Division 7, if they can win 5 or 6 games, they'll make the playoffs, and then they can be retooled by then, and we'll see what happens. So, Mike, who you got?
Well, it's Canal Days in Delphus this weekend. That means party time before and after the game over at Stadium Park, and that's a good place always for tailgate, to be quite honest.
Absolutely, it is.
So they'll be in a festive mood. But the thing is, Coldwater comes to town. They're pretty much of that same ilk, so they'll just slip right in and not even be noticed, except on the field where they've got the numbers and the size and too much for St. John's. How can you can't pick against Coldwater.
Yeah, I agree. We're all in agreement.
So,
last chance to disagree for this week. Can the Spartans put together back-to-back wins? They host Fremont Ross tonight in the Three Rivers Athletic Conference opener. And Jason Aldrich, I see a shiny object in your hand.
You know what? Again, when you're not sure, when in doubt, you go to the coin.
When in doubt, have some guts and make a pick. Right. No.
That's why I have this.
Not Aldrich.
That's right.
When in doubt, whip out.
Hey, it rarely
flip the coin.
It rarely has let me down. I think maybe since we've been doing this now, I think maybe twice.
that's right. And who has the overall lead, right, Jason?
Right now, that would be me. Yes.
Just flip the damn coin.
All right. Heads, home team, Lima Senior. Tails, road team, Fremont Ross. It comes up tails. I got to take the Little Giants.
All right, Mike, who you got?
I'm going with the Spartans. I said I was not going to pick them until they finally won a game. I think I actually stole that from you, Todd.
Yes.
But they did win against Piqua, and I'm going to say there's going to be an excellent crowd of Spartan fans, including students, tonight at beautiful Lima Stadium, and they're going to flush the Little Giants, and the Spartans will win 2 in a row for the first time since who knows when.
Yeah, I'm going to have to look that up, by the way. And even though Lima responded last week, I'm still picking Fremont Ross tonight at Lima Stadium. So I'm taking the Little Giants. So that's the only disagreement for the week.
Come on, I stand with Lima. You guys, well, what can I say?
Well, we're making picks. It doesn't mean we want to win.
I got
so
you.
we think we'll win.
Very good.
So that wraps up our roundtable segment as the Web Insurance countdown to kickoff continues. Speaking of Lima Senior, we'll hear from their coach Mike Fell in our next segment as we roll toward OG and Shawnee tonight from Titan Stadium on 1150 WIMA.